Oakland has gone from a community at play to a community at home. These are the stories and experiences of our Oakland residents while we are all home alone, but still in this together.
My name is Ariel Dovas. I live in the North Oakland area of Oakland.
And how many people are you sheltering in place with at your home?
Including me, 3. So my wife, my daughter, and myself.
And how old is your daughter?
My daughter's 7.5. She just recently turned 7.5, and we decided that half birthdays are now a thing that is acceptable to celebrate.
How did St. Pancake's Day come about?
We're actually Jewish, so Easter was never a super big thing in terms of religion for us, but it was definitely like a community type event. It became clear that we weren't going to be able to do anything like that, and so we kind of talked about what can we do instead. And we dyed eggs, we hid them in the backyard, and I did a little scavenger hunt around the neighborhood. And so at the end of that day, I was putting my daughter to bed, and I was saying, all right, well, that was, it was different Easter, but that wasn't bad, right? We still had a lot of fun. And she was like, yeah, you that was a really good try. She really meant it completely sincerely, that she was appreciating that I tried, but she was also kind of, not willing to say that it was the same, because it wasn't the same. I kind of had the feeling right away that we need to kind of create new things, new traditions that kind of work for this time. And we can let go of them later if we want to, or we can hold on to them, but we need something that makes sense for where we're at now. So that was kind of how it started.
You have an origin story that I saw on your website. Did the idea just pop into your head right then, sort of spontaneously? Were you just throwing it out like, let's make pancakes? How did that come about?
St. Patrick's Day was coming up, and I think I just kind of like had that in my mind. And so I just kind of pulled out like St. Pancakes Day. That's kind of like a funny joke. And I think what we really liked about it was that we could make it a really low stakes situation, right? We're not trying to create anything that really puts extra burden on parents and families right now, because that's obviously the last thing we need. We're trying to do the opposite. We're trying to relieve some of that. And so then that story kind of, my daughter and I were kind of talking about things, and we kind of came up with this loose story, and then reached out to my friend Matt Garmer, and he and I have been working on some kind of kid story ideas for a while. And so he got his friend Evan Gregory from the Gregory Brothers to do a recording of it. And it just kind of started to go from there. We're kind of like, how big is this? How big should we make this? Like, is this a thing? And people were like texting me being like, is this a real holiday? And I was like, yeah, I guess. I mean, what's a real holiday? Sure. Yeah, it is now. Like, we just decided that it is. So let's just make it that,
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of went from there.
It falls on the last Saturday of every month, right?
Right. Yeah. We felt like waiting a year didn't really make sense. Everything's moving really quickly. Let's just have it be every last Saturday. Yeah.
And so you have had one day of this holiday already. Can you tell me about that first day?
That morning, we were on TV, live TV. My daughter and I, in our pajamas, just kind of jumped on TV to talk about it. And, it didn't go like viral in the sense of like the whole world was talking about it, which was good, because I think that would have been a little overwhelming. But it caught on enough, I think, locally, that a lot of her friends were doing it, and people that we hadn't heard from for a while were kind of texting us, and started to see things on Instagram and Twitter coming in. And just people having fun with it. And when we made our own pancakes, just like we wrote in the story, they were horrible. They were not good to eat, because that wasn't really the point. Every meal you're thinking about how delicious can this be? And this was kind of fun to just be like, what do we want to do with this? What do we want to throw in? Let's throw in sprinkles and chocolate chips and nuts and peanut butter and everything. And we had a lot of fun with it.
It sounds like a lot of people participated. How were you getting the word out?
I definitely am not a social media guru. Me and Matt Garmer are the two of us who are kind of putting this stuff together. And so we're kind of just flying by the seat of our pants a little bit. But I just kind of reached out to a few people who I had contacts with before, some people who I knew who were still in the media industry, and kind of just reached out and was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. I think people will be interested if you don't mind. Like, might be something good for people. I mean, I think what happened was that people really got it really quickly, that we weren't really trying to sell anything. We weren't trying to tell you what to do. We were just trying to come up with something that we could give you that could be cool, And I think one of the things that I stressed on the TV interview that morning was that You can hashtag, new holidays, or you can tag St. Pancakes Day on the social media stuff. Or you cannot. You could just do it and have fun. And we don't really need anything from you. We just want, we're just watching our kids really struggle with some of these things. And as parents, you can feel helpless a lot of times. And so we just want to try to help create things that can make us feel a little bit more in charge of how our day's going to go, what we have to look forward to. But we're really kind of hoping that we could, inspire other people to also come up with their own things that they want to do, their own new rituals or whatever. And we could all share them, and you could choose to take or leave whatever parts of it you want. But again, just really trying to, have people create things that really make sense for right now.
How is your daughter? How does she feel about people's reaction to it?
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like, to me, kids are not super surprised when like things kind of, if you're like, everyone's talking about this thing that you did, they're like, yeah, what else is there? They're kind of like, they're just like little narcissists anyway. But she definitely wanted to talk about it with friends and wanted to get her friends involved. And she loved seeing people sending in the photos and hearing how people are participating. But yeah, long story short, she really enjoyed it. And then, of course, she was kind of on to the next thing,
But looking forward to the last Saturday of the month, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Can you give us your website and how they would find you on Instagram, or what hashtags you're using?
So stpancakesday.com, and then just at St. Pancakes Day on Twitter and on Instagram. And then there's also a Facebook page, St. Pancakes Day. So again, you could use those hashtags of New Holiday or hashtag St. Pancakes Day and share stuff, or you don't have to. We want to pass this on, and I think the best possible scenario for this would be to have other people adopt this and make it their own in different ways. Help us all reach out to each other and make sense of what's going on in a way that really gives kids something to enjoy.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us and doing your part to flatten the curve, and also for giving us something sweet to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
If you are an Oakland citizen and would like to share your Home Alone Together story, please email us at ktop@oaklandca.gov.